Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So. Shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so hi everyone. We are here today to talk about the importance of psychology in esports. My name is Nina and I'm a part of Cyberwolf's esports team. And I'll be leading this talk today. So Cyberwolf's esports team is a organization of pro and semi-pro players in many different games with teams in LoL and Valorant being #1 in Slovenia and Mobile Legends second in Balkan. And we are doing this event today in collaboration with Sneaky Foxes, our partners. They are an esports organization of average players. They want to bring the adrenaline of competition to everyone, not just to the tier players. And with us today is Viktor Veličkovski, also known as Holy. So tell us something about yourself.
So, okay, thanks Nina for the introduction. My name is, as you said, is Viktor, but everyone calls me Holy, so feel free to call me Holy. I am a psychology coach, but I must say that I was retired ex-semi-pro League of Legends and CSGO player. Since the obligations and life hit hard in the past, so I couldn't continue playing. I just switched to being a coach. So I combined my future profession, which is psychology, and gaming, which is like my first love, as I can say. So yeah, that's how I become like psychology gaming coach.
Just a second. I'm hearing myself here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably have to mute like we cannot hear you. You have to mute probably the stream.
Hello.
In the background.
Hello, hi. Zdaj sem končala stream. Sama, ker jaz sama sebi slišim, jaz ful vse slišim, ko govorim.
Okay.
Na stanku streamaš si moraš dati na mute.
Kaj pa desktop audio ali mic ali kaj, mic?
Ne, pač, da ne boš poslušala Twitcha, pač si daj Twitch na mute, ne gledati, ne imeti odprtega Twitcha zraven.
A ja, to, ok.
Ja.
Pomeni, bo stream delal, bo ne?
Ja, bo.
Mislim, se lahko mutaš samo Twitchu, daš na tih.
Ne, ok, evo, ne, si bo. Super, ok, oh, bad. Ok.
Don't worry about this.
Okay, good.
No, everything works. Nice, cool.
Yeah, technical problems. Okay, you can continue.
Yeah, so basically, like, that's it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So
when do we start, guys? Should we wait a little bit longer so more people join? You know that people are not on time, never.
Yes, that's
yeah,
true.
we can wait a bit, but like, works fine.
Let's wait 5 more minutes and maybe just write in your Discords, guys. People forget.
So Goran, how are you?
Oh, I just came home 5 minutes ago. I came from shower now. Like, I was on a picnic with the previous company, so.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
Goran, I'm here. SF Monster. Hi, SF Monster.
Hi. So yeah, I will try to invite a few more people.
I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. So that's really nice. Thanks, guys, for supporting us and coming to this event. It means a lot, and I hope that you will learn something.
All right. People don't understand that this is a free knowledge. You should usually pay for.
Yes.
But it's always like that. People are always late. I know that when Jiva had those meetings on reveries, like they always need to wait 5 or 10 minutes to more people to join in. So where are your people? Nina,
My
from
people.
Cybros?
I don't know exactly. I think they're having some other things to attend to, I guess.
Okay. So let's wait 2 more minutes and then we can start officially.
Cool.
So are we starting then again from the
Oh,
beginning?
you already started?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We did just do like the beginning, like.
I didn't know that you.
It doesn't matter.
Introduction.
I was like 8.2002 and I was like, okay, they didn't start it in 2 minutes.
I see some coaches in the chat, and that's amazing. So.
Okay, guys, you should probably start now.
Okay, so we've gotten to know our guest today. So my first question is, what do you think is the most important thing from a psychology perspective for an esports team to function properly?
So basically, like, I will say that everything is really important because psychology is really a complex topic, and there are a lot of like really important things you should take in consideration. So one thing to work properly, and I cannot like point out one thing, but like if I have to make a list of important things you should take in consideration, it will be first of all communication, and not just in esports. I think communication is necessary for one relationship to function. It's also necessary for one family to function, friendship. So yeah, definitely communication. The second thing would be mutual respect between the players, because like if you don't respect the player you're playing with, that thing cannot function. Why? Because like it will be really a complete disaster, and people will start to judge each other based on their ranks, or they will just they'll just like disrespect each other, won't listen to each other. So yeah, like that's the like respect will be the second thing. Third would be having motivation to play the game and to improve. And the fourth thing would be like, I don't know, it's like I don't know how to like say it. It's about toxicity, but I would say like if the environment is healthy and friendly, the team will function properly. The same like as I said in relationship or family. But if you have like a toxic environment when someone is like saying bad things or someone is just like toxic, the whole team won't feel good, and they won't perform good. So yeah, those four things I would say that are really important. And I cannot say like is like the first thing more important than the second one or the second and the third one.
Yes, yes, yes. All are important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established that psychology is important in esports, but would you say that psychology is neglected in gaming? And if that's the case, why?
Definitely, because like I think psychology is neglected like all like in sports also, not just in esports. Also in like um, any competitive sport. It doesn't have to be like uh, let's say football. It can be like even bodybuilding. It can be like tennis. It can be table tennis, whatever. And it doesn't have to be a team sport. I think like psychology, especially in gaming, is really neglected because like you don't see the benefits out of it. All players think that in order to become good at the game, you need to have micro or macro skill. For those who are not gamers, but I doubt the no gamers are watching this, I would say that micro is your individual skill and how you are mechanically good at the game. For example, if it's a shooter game, how precise your aim is, or where is your crosshair positioning, or if it's like League of Legends game, it would be like um, how good your kiting is, hitting your skill shots, and so on. And macro game is like how good you understand the overall game, when and where you have to be in a certain time, what should be the focus of the game, what is the win condition, and so on. And people think in order to become a professional player, you need to know those things, micro and macro. But that's not true. That's not true. Like in order to become a pro player, you need to have the right mindset. You need to know how to learn. You need to know how to approach the game, and those like are really important things. I have seen so many people that are really high skilled in any game, but they struggle with their mental, which means that they're toxic or they're frustrating. They're easily tilted. So, for example, in League of Legends, you have like A, B, and C game. A game is like when you're making no mistakes. B is your average game, and C is like the game you're playing really bad. The player can be playing in their A game, but just because of their mental, they can be always in the B or the C tier, which means like they're underperforming. So yeah, definitely, gaming psychology is really neglected in gaming.
Yeah. And what are some of the biggest and most common problems the gamers face in the field of psychology?
Okay, so if we separate the players I have personally coached, because I cannot say overall, because the population is so big, I have faced only some, like let's say 100 people I have coached. It's not a big number, but still, it's like I think decent number. So we can separate the all of the gamers in two groups. One will be like players that want to be professional and a professional player. I have never had troubles or never in my life like professional player approached me because of toxicity. The most common problems professional players have are organizing their time, for example, their private life and gaming life. So I have seen people struggling keeping their in real life relationships. So for example, a guy came up to me and said, look, I'm a professional League of Legends player. And my relationship with my girlfriend is collapsed. I don't have time to spend with her. How can I organize my time so I can be with her? Or how can I organize my time so I can finish my school work and still be able to perform that very well? Or stage anxiety, like how can I perform if 5,000 people are watching me on stream? Or how can I perform if I go to a LAN tournament and there are people in front of me watching or cheering for me or whatever? So those are like the most common problems professional players have. The players that want to be professionals, like there are tons of like, I won't say mistakes, but like issues. First of all, toxicity. for like the thing that is most often.
Mhm.
Then like time management, anxiety, low motivation, frustrations. How can I like the one of the most common things are also like how can I tell my mom that I want to become
Mhm.
professional player and she needs to understand that? How can I
Yes, yes.
convince her?
That's an
Or
actual job. Right?
yeah, true. And like if you have a boomer parent that have never played games,
Mhm.
you're struggling with that because like they think you're wasting time, and then you should do something more clever, right? So
Yes.
like those two like groups and their most important issues.
Okay, so we have one question here. What if you don't have problems with mentality, but you are toxic?
I think that if you're toxic, you have problems with your mentality.
Okay.
Yeah, because like there must be a reason why you're toxic.
Mhm.
People are not toxic just because they want to be toxic. There must be a hidden reason behind that.
Mhm.
They might be aware of it, they might not be, but definitely, yeah, there is an issue in your mentality approach if you're toxic. For example, like if we put that in real life, if you're angry, you might have like problems with something triggering you.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be angry, right? Or if you hate someone, you cannot say like I hate him or I hate a group of people and I'm okay. There must be a reason why you're hating them.
Mhm.
And then like there's a question which is like what a good mental should look like and how can you say a person has a good mental, which is a really relevant thing.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. So we talked about mental skills. So why should players work on their mental skill sets besides getting good at the game? Because a lot of players think the only thing they have to do is be good at the game.
Why should they do that? Why should they do that?
Why should
Well,
they work on their mental skill set?
because that will make their life easier
Yeah.
inside of the game and outside of the game. And when I say that, I mean like really precisely. Um, you will make new friends. You will be a better communicator. You will know how to solve problems. You will know how to solve hard situations in your life. You will know how and when to talk and when to be quiet, and what to say and when to say. You will also work on yourself to understand yourself, why things trigger you, why do you hate something, why do you like that, how can you improve on that. It's basically like a process when you see yourself developing, and that's the reason why you should like work on your mental set and skills and not just the game thing. Because like if you're challenger but you don't feel good about yourself and about the game and about the team you're in, you're not happy
Yes.
and you're not satisfied and you don't want to play the game. So having the right skill set helps you not just to understand the game better, but also like to feel better and to like just as I said, make your life easy. Chica Pablo raised his hand. Um, so Chica, you can answer. Not answer. You can ask your question. Sorry.
Yes, if anyone has any questions. Okay.
It might be a mistake, or you can write it in chat.
I have questions, so just
Okay, so my question now would be if mentality skills are as important as gaming skills, do you think that like if gamers train, I don't know, 3 times a week, should there be like some mental coaching also like scheduled? I don't know, 2 times a
Yeah.
week or something like that.
That's really good question, but sadly, I don't have a concrete answer because it depends on the team
Mhm.
and also depends on the needs of the team. It's like imagine like a really good-looking person that has like athletic body and athletic performances, and the question is, should he train?
Mhm.
Well, yes. So for his own benefit and health benefit, yes, he should. But does he needs to train so he can look better?
Mhm.
The answer is probably no, because he already looks good, right?
Yes.
So depends on like what are your goals and do you really need it? Yeah, psychology coaching sessions do not look like therapeutic sessions when you hear like
Mhm.
one-on-one thing and you ask a person about their past traumas or their childhood and so on. Yeah, sometimes it can be like that, but also you can talk with a mental coach about, as I said, how to structure your day. How can I set priorities?
Mhm.
How can I decide what is important for me? Or for example, if you have troubles with switching roles, I had a person that wanted to switch to mid and he was really skeptical about it. He was like, okay, I'm support mid, but do I want to play mid? And he was struggling. He had like inner conflict and identity crisis because he didn't know, will he be a good mid laner? Does he really wants to play mid at first place? So things like that. And you can always talk about that, or how to be highly motivated, highly disciplined, or how can I set a own program for self-improvement? How can I track goals? How can I make achievable goals? Those are things you can work on daily basis or weekly basis, monthly basis. So depends on the individual, I would say. Depends on the team. Depends on the goals of the person. Yeah, it's really like
Okay.
individual.
Yeah. Depends on the person.
Yeah.
So we talked also a lot about toxicity here. So tell us about practical implication on work, like what methods and what accessories do you use and how do you approach a player with that might be toxic in a game? With what methods do you approach him?
Yeah, so I think toxicity is one of the most common problems in competitive gaming. And it doesn't matter like if it's World of Warcraft, if it's like League of Legends, like Valorant, CSGO, Dota 2, it doesn't matter. People are just like toxic. How to approach a person that is toxic? I would say like out of the game. So like what's the question meant when I coach a person that is toxic, or how do I approach the person when I'm like playing the game?
Well, you can tell us about both.
Okay. So first of all, the person needs to come to you. That's the first good side that he wants to change. If you approach the person and you're forcing your opinions on him and you're telling him like, bro, you're toxic, you have to change, the things you're doing are not well, and blah blah, it's really hard that the person will work on it and it will change. But the moment a toxic person contacts you and tells you like, look, I'm struggling with toxicity, I think I'm flaming, I think I'm really toxic, I'm wishing people cancer, I wish their families to die and so on, then you know that's a green sign. That's a good sign that the person is conscious, aware of,
Yes.
of the problem they have, and they want to do something about it. So the second step would be to create a really safe and good environment so the person can open up to you. And that also means like if you're a teammate, you cannot point out someone's mistake in front of like 5 or 10 people. You cannot like judge someone or provocate someone or trash talk someone in front of others. It will just make contra effect. Why? Because then a defensive mechanism is activated and the person will start to argue back and fight back, and you're not fixing the issue you have. So as I said, the second thing is like you create a safe environment. You just like talk with the person, you try to call him down, you try to get to know each other better, and then you talk. It's really important how you choose your words. If you approach the person like, hey, your coach told me that you're toxic and you're doing this and this, is that right? And not like the person will get really defensive. You just have to ask him, or have to like have empathy to understand him. Like, a really good method I use is like, is there something you want to talk about today? Is there something that is troubling you, or is there something you want to work on? And the person will come up and say like, hey, yeah, I'm toxic, you know. And then you just like come out like from the things they're saying. For example, why are you toxic? Why do you think you're toxic? Or what do you think about toxicity? And you just have a casual talk when the person is giving his opinion about the topic. And then like you try to understand like what's the reason behind toxicity. It can be a variety of reasons. It can be false perception. It can be if the person is really has like inferior approach and understanding, is submissive, but submissive in a way when he wants to come as a carry in the game, or he wants to be in the top, but he's not, or he can be, so he's becoming toxic. It can be like defensive mechanism, like low confidence levels. For example, like someone is telling you that you're performing bad, and you say like, go fuck yourself, I hope you die, and stuff like that, right? Because like you are not self-confident enough, and you don't have like high self-esteem to accept that you're bad, or that you perform bad. Also, like there are many more reasons. For example, childhood trauma, false, really bad mentors and role models in life. Also, it can be persona. You're trying to hide behind your alter ego. For example, you want to have like certain persona in front of your friends, and you think that if you flame and curse others, you're looking like a badass. You will do that. So you just try to find the reasonings. Why is the person toxic? And then when you find out, you can have like a certain methods that you implement to fix that. And some of them would be like changing their perception. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, people behave based on what they think. So if they think something, like if you try to change the way they think, they will try to behave differently. Something like that, for example, or just giving them things they have to work on, so they will put their attention on something else. So for example, you go into a game, and you see that your top laner or mid laner is 0-3 or 0-5, you will get frustrated. You will get tilted, and you will start to flame them. But if you have a certain goals that you're working on, and that's, for example, vision or farming on wave positioning, wave management, and so on, you will be so obsessed and so focused on the things you have to work on that you won't have time to see what others are doing. Also, like the method that's really good is like the method. I don't know the name of the method, but I find out that it works really well. And that's it. Like when people, sure, Monster, sure.
I was a really, really, really bad toxic player. So my situation was that like I watched on game like to run away from reality for all problems, and in core you are really toxic when you run away from reality or something. So you think you can say something to other players and don't hurt them. But with years on this game and experience I started being toxic, because you can hurt somebody really, really hard. So that's all. You have a lot of reasons to be a toxic. So
Mhm.
that's only one reason is that to run away from reality, like me.
Mhm.
But that's my past. So
Mhm.
only all can change that.
Mhm.
So that's alter ego or something else. But a lot of toxic players are just run away from reality and want to show really how to say how really he is or she is.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
That's the one reason.
Mhm. Yeah, Monster, thanks for sharing that with us. It means a lot, and I think like it's really good input you gave us here. So yeah, a lot of people struggle in real life, and then like when they use like the game as an escape mechanism. For example, let's say you're going to you have like you're a high school student, you have like a lessons today, you had mathematics test, it didn't go that well. Then you had like biology results, you got like 1 or 2, which is not that great. You're really frustrated. You come back home, your mom is mad at you because you have really bad grades. And then like the only thing you can do is start arguing with your mother, which like the outcome will be really negative because she can take your computer, or you don't want to argue with your mother, right? And the only thing you can do in that situation is uh, to have like escape mechanism. I used boxing as escape mechanism. Some people go to run, some people go to the gym, some people take alcohol, drugs, start to fight in the street, break something, destroy something, or for example, play games. And how your frustration, disappointment, anger will manifest in games really differs from person to person. Everyone can drink alcohol, but not everyone is alcohol addict, right? Also with the game, all of us have hard lives and are frustrated, but not all of us are toxic, or some of us are less toxic than others. Some of us just like say fuck you in the chat, or but others wish cancer to people and something like that. So yeah, as SF Monster said, games are a way to escape reality and to feel better. And when I see a toxic players or players that run it down and they say like, I don't care about this game, bro, you don't deserve to win, I try to understand them, because they are deeply inside suffering and they're struggling a lot. Because like imagine you play League of Legends in a rank, you're Diamond 1, Diamond 2, high elo. Of course you care about your rank, because if you didn't care about your rank, you wouldn't have like 500 games this season and be Diamond 1. And when I see people telling me like, bro, I don't give a fuck about this game, you should lose, and deep inside they really care, but they feel powerless because they cannot do anything about it. The game is in a losing state. And instead of accepting the game that is in losing state, they're trying to fix that. But they're not trying to fix that by trying to win. They're trying to fix that by giving up. Because giving up is way easier than trying to win a lost game, right? And when you think about it, it really makes sense. And in my opinion, if you understand something or someone, you cannot get mad at them, right? Imagine like a person is having a really bad day and they're like a bit cocky or anxious or nervous, whatever, aggressive, and they come up to you and they tell you, look, my girlfriend broke up with me, or I don't know, I had like a funeral in my family, someone died, or I just got a bad grade. You cannot get mad at them because you understand their situation.
Yes.
And yeah, about toxicity, it's really complex problem, because the roots of the problem are hidden deep inside the person, and you really have to explore. And the one thing that really frustrates me is that I do this, like I do coaching sessions for free, and people think that I can fix their mental by having 1 or 2 sessions. Imagine you're toxic 20 years. Do you think like 2 talks, which are both 3 hours, can fix your mentality? Sadly, no. It's a process, it's not a race, it's marathon. And you need to put a lot of effort. As SF Monster said, you need to understand them and to don't make the situation even harder, which is true. They're already suffering, and you don't have to put up on that. True, their behavior is affecting your game, is affecting your mood, but at some point you can mute them. You can avoid the conflict, right? You don't have to type with them. You don't have to argue with them because they feel like won't win you the game or improve the situation.
Yes, yes. So there was one question, just a second. How do you enter flow state?
How to enter a flow state? Okay, there is no definition or way how to enter a flow state. Every single person. Okay, so first of all, let's explain what flow state is. So flow state is I will say state, obviously, right? State in which you're hard focused on one thing. So for example, like it's like hyper focus. It means that your body activities are lowered, your heartbeat, your like sound system, all of the receptors, all of the things that consider you like as a being. So for example, when you're playing a game, the only thing that you're aware in that moment is the game you're playing, and you are just like dreaming. You cannot hear if someone enters the room. You cannot hear the dog barking outside. You cannot feel anything. You're just here and focusing on the game. Every how would I say, like every key you press is so synchronized with your breathing and your like, how do you say that when you I don't know the word. I don't know the word even in Slovene. When you close and open your eyes,
Blinking.
Blinking. Yes. Thank you. Yes, blinking. So it's like the way you press your keys, the way you blink, the way you breathe is so synchronized that you're like one being in its perfection. And then like, how can you enter that? I have entered it a few times. One, it was on the exam, and one it was in the finals when I played League of Legends. So first of all, I think you need to be well rested. If you're tired, no way you will enter it. Your diet, a lot of energy of the body goes to the digestive system. So if you're digesting food, your body and mind is present in your belly, and you're focusing on that. You're not focusing on the flow state or entering the flow state. The third thing would be try to understand your biorhythm. And that means like, are you a morning person or night person? I have rarely I have entered flow state in the morning. I'm night person. It's way easier for me to focus in the night because everything is more calmer and less distracted. The fourth will be like create environment that has no distractions. And the fifth thing, try and work on your breathing methods. So those are like 5-6 tips you can work on to try to get in the flow state. Also, your body needs to be like in a perfect position. You don't have to be like this or playing like this, you know, right? You have to like stand with your back up and shoulders back, and you need to like really come in one state when everything is working in balance and in proportion. If you try to force yourself into a flow state, you will never enter it. But try to practice those things, and the chance you can get into a flow state are bigger than before.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's actually like meditating. So
yes.
So meditation is maybe a good way to start going in that state.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely, sure.
Thank
and
you.
also, when it comes to meditation, try to find meditation that works for you. there are like so many meditations in online, like on the internet, and some of you, some of the motivation, some of the meditations, pardon me, work for you, but some don't. So try and experiment. But definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Another question on Twitch. Do you think that game developers are creating unhealthy gaming environment in their games? And is toxicity only the fault of players themselves? It's in chat.
I'm thinking about it. Well, yes and no. For example, like I want to ask the person that asked Victor, hello, and I want to ask the person that asked this question. So at some point, yes. For example, like if you're trying to, there was unpleasant. I fell out of my chair. Sorry for you, Alex. I hope you're doing well now. So yeah, depends, really depends, because like for example, you're trying to be a professional gamer and then you go to play ranked and then you see a person that is not really working on or trying to be a professional, and he's trying new skins, for example, that will hurt your MMR or your rank and so on. So because the games are not punishing those kind of people that are trolling on ranked, yes, they are creating a toxic environment. Yeah, by not like punishing those people, games create unhealthy environments. But at some point, it's your responsibility to not be toxic, right? So even though someone is trolling your games, you have like freedom and responsibility to not troll or to not be toxic to the person. So yeah, they do. They definitely do. Game developers do create unhealthy, but also like it's people's like fault.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to another question. What's the best way to stay level-headed and not rage in a game?
I would say like having a clear goal. Why are you playing this game in the first place? It's same like with everything else. Imagine you are like celebrity. You will see hate comments. You will see people that do not support you. You will see people. You will hear people talking bad and lies about you and your work, and you just need to know how to handle that. So when you play the game, you have to be aware that there will be some games that are unwinnable. And there will be some games that people will troll, people will int, people will flame, and so on. Being aware of that and being aware that you want to become a pro player, and that means a lot to you, will make you still cool-headed. Because like if you start to flame back, you will definitely lose the game. Why? Because the person you're flaming will stop playing and will type with you. You won't be focusing on the game, but you'll be really tilted and typing with the other person. Also, it can like affect your account. You will get permabanned and so on and so on. So they're like really like okay. Thanks, Brian. So they're like I forgot the question. I got distracted.
What's the best way to stay level-headed?
Yeah, thanks. yes. So yeah, just knowing that you will be like, you want to become a pro, it's a good reason, and that there will be bad days and good days. And also like having a really concrete goals you want to work on when you start the game. For example, you queue for ranked. What's the goal for that game? Improve my aim, try to die less, try to give info on time, try to have perfect CS, or if you're playing Valorant, I don't know, try to hold side, try to help, I don't know, teammates with utility. And if you set those concrete goals, you will be focused on achieving those goals and not flaming your teammates or getting tilted by your mistakes. Because in the end of the day, you can affect your own performance and not the performance of your teammates. And you cannot affect or change how they play, but you can change what and how you play the game, right?
Yes.
So those things.
Okay, so you told us how you approach a player that is toxic, but how do you approach a player that might be narcissistic in a game?
Narcissistic person definitely needs therapist, because that's an issue which is like similar to trauma. And narcissistic people are really rare, but when you find them, the experience is definitely unpleasant. The ways how you can approach a person that's narcissistic is, first thing, mute himself, mute him, mute him, or mute yourself. Like, for example, if you cannot mute him, you mute yourself from not listening to him. Definitely deaf yourself. Don't take whatever he's talking too seriously, because you cannot rely on the feedback and on the comments of narcissistic people, because from the narcissistic perspective, you're always wrong, and no matter what you do, they will find faults and mistakes in your performance, your approach, and so on. So for example, if someone is really narcissistic, as I said, mute them or mute yourself, ignore them, and don't take yourself and them too seriously, because in the end of the day, you cannot fix them. They really need a therapist, and that's not a joke. That's a really complex and serious problem.
Yes. So moving on. Do you think that it is better to have a lower tier player that's willing to cooperate and play as part of the team, instead of a better player that might have an ego?
Perfect question, and I have a really good analogy of that question, and that's would you? And there's also a question for all the people in the chat. No matter your sexual preferences, are you straight or gay or whatever, would you like to have a partner that's really rich, can afford you anything, car, apartment, holidays, anything you want, but he's really toxic? Or you want to have not that rich partner, but he's supportive, nice, kind, and helps you?
I would say the second one.
Yes, the second one. Also in the gaming situation. Why? Because in a long terms, the average player is better for the team. Because first of all, as we said, the one of the most important thing for a team to be successful is to the players need to feel good when they play, right? And if you don't feel good, and you know that your mistake will be judged by someone, and they will call you out on everything you make wrong, and they will be really toxic towards you, you will be afraid to take initiative. You will be afraid to make a step. You will be afraid to pop up, and you will perform badly, because okay, I won't do this, because if I make a mistake, they will trash talk me, right? So definitely I would choose average player, but that's really supportive, kind, nice, really driven to improve, really driven to become a better person and player, than having a really egoistic but really skilled player. I can say from my own opinion. When I played for the last team, we had a mid laner who was ranked 48th challenger on the server. He was challenger, I don't know, 800 LP or 600. I'm not sure, but whatever. That's really high elo. But he was really egomaniac. Imagine you're winning a game and he comes at the end of the game and he's like, guys, did you see how I carried you? I really popped off. Did you see those solo kills? I don't know. Look at my farm. I have perfect CS. My damage is better than yours. I'm playing this game alone, and so on and so on and so on. But thanks God, I had like a really good support. When I say a good support, I don't mean by a player. It was also a really good player. It was also a challenger. But the support player was more dominant person, a leader, really, you see those kind of people. When you see them, you know that you want them to lead. You want to listen to them. You are just respecting them because the way they're looking, the way they're acting, the way the things they say. And those people, they have your respect. Yes. And you just want to follow them. So that was our like support player. And the support player was able to control the ego of the mid laner. And the team was working perfectly. But as an AD carry player, felt really good in this team. No, we were stomping, we were winning. We were like 1 masters and 5 challengers. That was really banger team. But imagine like you're winning the game, you're destroying the enemy nexus, and then you hear like, I solo won this game. Look at my damage. Thanks for the carry. Look at my farm. Yeah, it's a team game, bro. The tank was there to soak the damage. I was there to apply physical damage. You were there to apply ability damage. Support was there to work. And everyone has a certain position in the team. Even though we were winning, the guy was prodigy. The guy was insane. I was just looking at his play and I couldn't believe that something like that could happen. But his attitude made me to hate him. Not to hate him like I want bad things to happen to him, but like to not want to be a friend of him. And to try to avoid him or to not talk to him. Or I just played with him because we were winning and we had to play together. And then like when he couldn't play anymore, we find another mid laner. Like the skill difference between those two guys were like enormous. But still, I enjoyed more talking and playing with the second guy because he knew to say sorry, when to say sorry, he knew to apologize, he knew how to say thanks and be grateful and to leave you a camp or farm or whatever you need. So yeah, definitely be a good player. Don't be like player that everyone carries. Be a good player, but also be humble, also be supportive, be nice, because that's how you gain trust and support from your teammates. If you're a douchebag, nobody loves and wants douchebags in your team. You can be prodigy, you can be insane, but if you make your teammates feel bad, nobody wants you.
So communication and respect, as we said at the beginning.
Yes, correct.
Okay, the last question. How do you approach? Oh, wait, we have a question here in chat. I have a question. How do you transfer your lead as ADC from mid game to late game, and where you should be on the map? How do you position for objectives and team fights?
Well, I can answer that question, but I don't know if that question is meant for this topic, because this is more like macro question when it comes to like knowledge of League of Legends and not like the psychology of esports. Marco, can I contact you in private later after we finish this podcast so I can answer you the question you asked?
Yes. Okay. Great. So the last question is, how do you approach a team or a player having issues, And is the approach different when you're working with a team versus an individual?
For example, when I approach individual, the thing is one-on-one, and I'm focusing 100% on the individual. But at the same time, we don't have to forget that team is made of individuals, right? And that means that when we work with a team, we should also treat every player as an individual. So what I tend to do when I coach teams is basically I open a Word document and then I ask, and we are working, for example, the importance of communication. And then like I ask every single player from the team plus coaches, what is their opinion on the topic, or what are the struggles with, or what do they think the team should improve on. So for example, let's say Nina is top laner, I don't know, Goran is mid, I am jungle, whatever. And then like the psychology coach comes to the chat, and then I ask, we go top from to bot. Nina, what do you think about communication? And you say like, okay, I think it's really important, but I think that our team struggles. And then I ask you, what do you think you struggle with? Well, I think that when we start to lose the game, we stop communicating, we don't talk, or we get really anxious, so everyone is focusing on the game and we don't talk. Okay, and I write that down in the Word document. Then I go to Goran. Goran is our jungler. Then I say, Goran, what do you think about that? And he says like, look, I agree with Nina, but I would also say that a lot of pressure comes to me because I'm the jungle and everyone thinks I should communicate or give info or short call the game, but I'm not confident in my calls. And then you see the correlation, right? From Nina's perspective, she thinks that we're not communicating because we're all tilted. From Goran's perspective, it's like he's not confident in his calls, so he would rather be quiet than false calling, right? And then when you see like those 5 different approaches on the same thing, you see where is the issue. And then like based on that, you decide what you should do next. Then Goran can work with the coach about his macro and game knowledge, so he will be more confident in his calls. I can work with Nina, so Nina can support Goran when he's calling, and then I can teach bot lane to follow Goran's and Nina's calls, and then like the improvisation, the communication automatically improves. So when I coach teams, I approach to them like as they are individuals, and I ask every single one of them about their opinion.
Okay, so that's it. If anyone has any questions, please let us know.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to ask me something, you can just hop in on the Zoom call, or
how do you approach people that are, like you said now, that are shy talking in games? Because I have experience when we have in our Valorant team, we have a guy who is really not talking much at all.
Okay.
But he's a very good player. And we are also not forcing him to talk, but how would you approach this kind of problem?
Okay, thanks, Goran, for the question. I think, like, as you said, you cannot force someone to talk, but you can try to convince him why would calling from him really be beneficial to the team, and how he can improve his his gameplay or his knowledge as a player if he starts calling. So for example, also a really good trick is to try to make the person calls, like force him to calls, and then try to give a positive feedback whenever the call is good, so he can get like self-confidence. Like the reason behind he can be just introverted. It doesn't have to do anything with confidence. He can just be like introverted person. He doesn't want to talk, but he's really confident, and that's totally fine. But I often find that shy people, or people that do not talk in games, are people that think that they are just.
You're still muted. Goran, can you unmute him?
I'm trying. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Okay, I make you co-host because my right click doesn't work there.
Okay, it works. Yeah. So, for example, what I found interesting is that some people, like shy people, as I said, are not have nothing to do with like low confidence. They can be just shy, but giving a positive feedback to a person will just encourage them to do that more. So, for example, he's just shy. You force him to call, then he's the shot caller of the game. He calls, and then you say like, "Man, the call that you made won us the half." Or when you said to not buy, we had eco for the next round, that was really good. So the people can feel like doing something and feel like really appreciated by the team. But also like some people are natural born leaders and they want to call and they feel comfortable calling and they're really good at it. Some people learn how to be good leaders, but some are just like not meant to do it. And I have seen like really good players. For example, if you watch CS:GO, Face Clan, they bring Nico. Nico was the best shooter in the game, the most talented player ever CS:GO produced. The moment they put him to be IGL, in-game leader, his performance drastically dropped. The person wasn't supposed to call. He was supposed to be there and shoot people and kill them. And the moment they put him to call, they reduced his performance, and that wasn't good. But Goran, if you want to try to help you with that, I can do a session with that person.
Definitely, we will talk about it.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. So another question in chat: how to play the game where you are the only one ahead and you are not allowed to make any mistakes, and then you get scared and more pressured because of that fact. How to stay focused and not get too much pressured in that situation?
Okay. First of all, who said that you're not allowed to make mistakes? And that's the issue here. I see immediately. Just because you're telling yourself that I'm not allowed to make mistakes, you will make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're afraid to do that, you do it. When it comes to scrims are made to make mistakes. So when you play scrims, make mistakes, try, limit test, try to outplay, try to win, try new champions. That's why the scrims are made for. The first thing. The second thing, if it's a team game and you're the only one that is ahead, you can try to transfer that lead to other lanes or other players, and also try to switch the win condition that makes you. So try to communicate with your team. Guys, I'm playing Kong Mao and Lulu. I'm the only one ahead. Try to build for me. Zek, instead of jumping in their backline, try to build for me. We play front to back. That's the first thing. Good communication. And all the players needs to be at the same page. If Jarvan jumps in their backline and Zek follows up, and then you're alone with 3 tanks, you'll lose the game. But if everyone is pulling for you, you might win the game. How to stay focused and not get more pressure because of that? Yeah. Just because you put yourself into your head that you don't have to make mistakes, you're putting pressure to yourself. Try to play the best you can and see the outcome, and then go back and review the game. Oh, I clicked here instead of here. I made this mistake instead of here. Okay, I learned. Go next. How to stay focused and not get so much pressure in that situation. This is really I will give you a really funny answer, but the answer is really deep. If you want to be good at something, if you want to be good at football, you need to play football. If you want to be good at gaming, you need to play games. If you want to stay focused in hard and pressure situations, you need to be in those situations often. And for example, if you want to be good at playing tournaments, you need to play more tournaments. So that's the first thing. The second thing is breathe. When we are in high pressure situations, we forget to breathe, or we breathe too fast. Try to regulate your breathing. Why? It calms your anxiety, it makes you a bit calmer, and you're focused. Drink water. Why? Because sometimes we are not even aware that we're thirsty from the situation. Yep, stay hydrated. I have like 3 bottles here, all empty. When I was playing tournaments, I would after the game I would realize that my throat is so sore that I was able to drink like 2 liters of water, and that's not healthy and that's not good because I wasn't drinking during the game. When I start implementing that, I definitely improve my performance. So breathe, and as I said, stay hydrated. Also, the third thing would be don't take yourself too serious. Even though you make mistakes, it's okay as long as you learn out of it. So give your best, and if you lose, whatever, GG's, you played well, you made a mistake, you will learn out of it, you will become better. Then you just qualify for the next tournament, and you pray that the situation will be the same, like really hard and pressure situations. You can improve playing in those situations. What's the difference between rookies and really experienced players? Do you feel that Reckless and Jankos feel pressure when they play on stage? Yes, if it's a world stage, yes. But LEC, no, they don't care because they have played Faker. Faker have 500 professional games. I don't have 500 games in CSGO, for example, but he has 500 games on stage. And if, like, do you think like Faker when goes on stage cares? No, because that's unconscious competence. He's really good at it. And how did he become really good at playing on stage? Because he played on stage. Mm-hmm. Those are like the tips I can give you.
Okay, thank you. Another question. Thanks everyone for questions. Does not caring about losing in ranked will improve your overall performance? Because I found that ranked should be a playground to improve yourself.
Yes. Solo queue and ranked should be a playground, as you said. That's a healthy approach to solo queue. Why? Because like you go in, you set goals, as I said. If it's Valorant, it can be crosshair position, utility usage, holding angles, being patient, calling on time. Those are the fundamentals of shooting games. Aim, eco, and so on and so on and so on. So, those are the things, like, as I said, personally you can improve on. Same goes to League of Legends. CSing, wording, positioning, lane trading, win conditions, rotations, macro, and so on. If you go to a solo queue game with that mindset, okay, today I'm gonna spend the next 5 games working on my utility usage. The only thing that cares is how good or how successfully I'm using my utility. In the end of the game, no matter if you win or lose, you just reflect on the utility usage. Okay, I should have thrown smoke there. I didn't. I hesitated. Why I hesitated? Why I did it? Did I place it? Oh, there was a small gap on the left. They shoot me from there. I should watch a YouTube tutorial how to do that more precisely. And that's how you improve on ranked. Because like if you improve on your fundamentals, slowly you will improve, your rank will improve. There is like one really important thing I learned during coaching and playing the game myself. in order. So this is like for all of you. Just listen, like really patiently. In order to become challenger, first you need to have the skills, gain knowledge, and to play like one. So if you play like challenger, you'll achieve challenger. But you won't start to play like challenger if you achieve it first, right? If I give you a challenger account, you won't be a challenger. So you need to improve yourself first to get to a certain rank. People think like, oh, I hit masters, I'm a master player. Yes and no. But if you are master player and your rank is gold 2, trust me, you will in no time make it to masters. So what is really important here? To work on yourself and to improve what you can control. And by improving that, you will hit your desired rank. That's why rank is not good measurement of skill. Today I had loser's queue and I lost 4 out of 6 games I played. Am I a bad player? No. But tomorrow it might be a better day. But today what I learned that I mispositioned 2 times that costed the game. And then tomorrow I won't do that. And when I will avoid mispositioning in the future, that means that I will win 2 games more. And by winning 2 games more, I will climb to the desired rank.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have feedback from Twitch. Can I add something on the topic? I personally learned you won't get better just by spamming games. Yes, a bit, yes, but not much. But try hard when you play and focus on mistakes you're making. That's the key for improvement.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. If you do something on autopilot, you won't get better about it. That you have to consistently learn, and you have to do like active learning. That's also when it comes to school. Like imagine you have like 100 pages to learn for the exam. If you just read them on autopilot, you won't learn them. But if you are constantly trying to memorize the words, try to understand what you're learning, try to memorize it, you will become better in it, or you will just understand it, know it, become better at the thing you're reading. But if you're just reading and your mind is somewhere else and you're just like autopiloting and playing games without sound, or I don't know, you're thinking about your girlfriend or why she broke out with you, you won't improve. That's why I'm the person who is just constantly talking, set goals. Why? Because they give you direction, what you need to work on. And when you work on those goals, you become better. And when you become better, it means that you will climb. Definitely agree on the feedback. And that's definitely true.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay. Would you like add something?
You can also, guys, or girls, sorry, you can also add or ask if you have like a personal problem, or if you want to, like question you struggle with, or if you wonder about something, is it true or not, or whatever you want, like feel free to ask anything.
I have one question. Maybe it's not directly related, but I would like to hear your opinion. When you're assembling a team together,
Okay.
What are the things that you should look in players? Okay, the obvious things are, of course, the rank and stuff that they can provide you without knowing them, but what to listen for and look for when you have a, I don't know, interview with them?
Okay. That's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. I would say like they need to be similar rank when it comes to rank, especially. Like if you make a gold yellow team, they need to be gold yellow. Why? Because like people that are similar elo tend to think the same way. and they tend to approach things the same way. So from the very beginning, the team will function better. That's the first thing when it comes to ranks. When it comes to personality, the first thing, like if you have a really person, let's say like personality is a spectrum, right? And you're in the somewhere in the spectrum. You don't want people that are in the both extremes, positive or negative. Why? Because it can influence the dynamic of the team. It can be like one person from the very positive extreme that's really hyperactive, talking a lot, really excited, cheering up everyone, supporting everyone, and so on. But if you have a person that is really, really, really asocial, then the team won't function together. Everything in the middle is fine. You just have to find people that have same goals. That's the most important thing. Like, okay, we all want to become pro players. Cool. If someone found out that they have 3 months free from school and they want to play for a team, that won't function. That's the first thing, same goals. The second thing would be past experiences. Because like a player who have been in teams for 3 years knows how team atmosphere function. But if a person has never been in a team, she might struggle. That doesn't mean that that's a bad idea. But if you find like 4 fresh people that have never played in a team and one really good player that have been like playing in few teams, that will be a burden for the player that used to play for teams, because he will feel the responsibility for the teammates, and he will feel powerless because he cannot help them or guide them to victory. So when I was like doing academy teams for Howling, I would tend to put like 5 people that have never played in a team together. So they'll go through the basics from the very beginning. And people that have used to play in a team, I put them together. So it's really good to ask them about their goals or some like maybe hobbies, so they can talk outside of the game about those hobbies, and they can like make the team function better and be more connected. It can be like also like for example, when I was doing the interviews, I could sense the energy of the people. It's maybe a psychological thing, but some people are more like hyperactive, more excited, more I want to do this, I am so happy about it, I want to play, I can't wait to start, when do we start? And people are like asking a lot of questions, so they will take like initiative. And when you put a person like that, it's cool. You can put like people that are less initiative, so you will have like a natural selected leader. Or yeah, it's the topic is really selected. It's really complicated, and there's no like concrete answer to that. But yes, some of those things, or try to not put like, try not to put toxic people in the team, because the 4 players can be really good, but one can be toxic and he can ruin the atmosphere. Or ranks. I see so many people having troubles when they select people by their ranks. They have like people putting Diamond 2 and Diamond 1 players with Platinum 2. The difference is just too big. The Diamond 1 player understands the game on a whole different level and prioritize different things than the Platinum 1 player. And then like when players are not on the same page, they struggle. Why? Because the Diamond 1 player thinks that I will shove the wave and then go Drake. The Platinum 1 will think, okay, I'm safe, I will freeze the wave. And then you have like mid laner and jungler going on a Drake, and then you see AD carry hitting minions on bot. Or if you tell them, bro, come Drake, then he's losing 20 minions because he needs to go to a Drake. And then like he's falling behind. So that's really important. I hope Goran answered your question, but that's really complicated thing.
Definitely, but we will talk on that topic
for sure.
In future.
Sure. Yes, for sure.
Okay, great. Another question from Twitch: why am I very good 5 days in a row, and then the next days I'm terrible? For example, in Valorant, I will win 5 games, which I'll be the best player. and then all of a sudden I will lose that consistency and struggle to perform good.
Okay, so as I said before, in competitive games, there are like three games. I would say three games, and when I say three games, I mean like A, B, and C game. A is the game you perform like you're a professional player, which means like your aim is perfect, your crosshair placement is perfect, your utility usage, positioning, time, everything, calls, and you're like having like I don't know 26 kills, few deaths. You're just playing like a smurf. The big game is like your average, you know. Let's say like out of 10 games, 2 or 3 are A games, two or three would be like C games, and the most of the games will be B. When it's your average. The C games are the one that are you're really struggling. 0-5, you don't have money. They kill you every time they see you. Like it's not your game. You're really underperforming. So what I see here is that you have like a huge difference between A and B and C game, which means that you're A or you're C. You don't have like in order to be like to become more consistent, you have to work on your C game. So for example, when you say like, and then I lose all of my consistency and I struggle to perform good, try to find the reason why it's like that. And if that happens really often, it doesn't have to be connected with your in real life problems. For example, you maybe like it can be the food you eat. Have you slept enough? How do you feel about the game? Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you don't feel good that day. Or if that has nothing to do with those things I mentioned, then rewatch the games you're struggling with and see what's the problem. And by trying to bring up the C game and to lower how often the C game occurs, you improve the big game. And when you improve the big game, you improve the A game. And you try to play like, if you play 10 games, like 5 should be A games, 4 should be B games, and 1 should be C game. Like the more you're in the range A and B, you will climb and you will constantly improve. The graph of improvement will look like this, right? But now it looks like this. You have like really good games and then you struggle a lot. You have really good games and you struggle a lot. So it means that, yeah, you need to work on your C game to be closer to your A game, and then you will be in a B tier. So the downward of the games wouldn't be that drastic. Try to find the problem if that's in real life, or second thing, try to watch the C games.
Okay. Does anyone else have a question?
Nina, we have I think one more. Marco has something.
No, I mean I don't see it.
What do you think about high rank difference in tournaments like Platinum versus Master Challengers? How to not think about that huge difference and how to make yourself more comfortable playing the tournament? Yeah, I understand this struggle. Because like rank in competitive games is like social gratification. It's like if you're challenger, it's also like you're having a Lamborghini in real life. Everyone loves you, everyone respects you, everyone wants to be your friend, everyone wants to play with you. But if you have I don't know any like really I cannot like came up with really bad car, but you're like really bad car and that's like bronze player. Yugo, yeah, but Yugo is okay, right? It used to be really good, but let's say Yugo. You have Yugo, like girls don't love you, they feel ashamed, they want to drive them in the Yugo, and you have to stop thinking about that, because that's the way you see and approach ranking system is the same you see and approach successful and not successful guys in real life. So if a really like millionaire approaches you in real life, you would also be afraid to talk with him or to give up your opinion, because you will be scared and you will just like validate him and respect him and be afraid of him. When I see challengers and masters, I'm really happy to play against them because they will point out and they will punish me for every mistake I make. So they are my mentors. Do you see how I approach ranks? Okay, this guy is going to make me suffer. He's gonna ruin my life. I will be like 10 CS in 10 minutes. I'm gonna struggle and I'm gonna instant lose the game. But guess what? I can really, really improve out of this game. Because if you play against Platinum and you're Platinum, you can win, they can win, but you're close. The mistakes are not seen because the person is not that good to punish you. But if you have like a challenger and you're Platinum, the difference is still so huge. He will really punish you for every misposition, every every mistake you make on lane, everything like you do wrong, and you can go and rewatch that game. And that's why tournaments are. If you lose on the tournament, go back, rewatch the game, get better. Come back next year, come back on the next tournament. Rank has nothing to do. Yes, it's connected to skill, but it doesn't have to be that they are like unhuman beings. They are also humans and they make also mistakes. But approach them that you can learn something out of it. And don't be scared. Like, why would you be scared? It's just a game. Like, if you lose, you learn, go back. That's like the healthy approach to tournaments and competitive games. I love to play against Reckless. He's gonna clap me. I know. I'm gonna look bad, silly. I'm gonna look like total beginner. But I want to play against him because I can go and watch the game and I can see like everything I did wrong. And that's a really good opportunity because that's free coaching. He pointed out your mistakes. Can I actually talk to you about AD carry if I have time for that? Yes, we can talk about that, but you can add me on Discord. You can add me on Discord and we can schedule a time to talk about it. For sure. I hope I answer all of your questions.
Yes, okay. So if there's any more questions, now would be the time. But if not, then thank you, Viktor, for your time and for all of your answers. Thanks to everybody who came today and who listened to us, who had some questions. And yes, that would be all.
Can I say also something, please?
Yes,
I just
yes.
want to say thanks to Cyberwolves and Stinky Foxes for organizing this and letting me having this opportunity to talk about such important topic. Also, I want to say thanks to everyone who came today to ask those really, really important and really nice questions. And I hope that we will have some more opportunities in the future to talk about such topics. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks again.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add that we should do that more often because I see the people have a really lot of questions about the topic, and maybe the next time you can show us some exercises to build the mental part of gaming. So that would be great. So I would also like to thank everybody in the Sneaky Fox's name to join us, and also the Cyberwolves, and of course to you, Viktor.
It's my pleasure.